What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today we're going to be unboxing the brand new iPhone 12 Pro Max in the new Pacific Blue color. Now you can also get this in gold, which is my second favorite. That's what I got on the regular iPhone 12 Pro here. You could also get it in graphite and silver. So this is the biggest iPhone that Apple has ever made at 6.7 inches on the screen. And I'm really curious to see if I prefer the feel of this or the regular Pro in the hand. So I will be comparing the size and talking about a lot of that later on. We're going to be running through the setup process, and I'm just going to give you guys my overall first impressions of this big iPhone 12 Pro Max here. So as you can see, the size of the box is smaller in comparison to previous years in terms of the overall thickness and things like that. That of course is because we do not get a power adapter or ear pods in the box this year. And of course, the smaller packaging allows Apple to ship 70% more iPhones per pallet, which is huge. So anyways, let's go ahead and unbox this. And I did also get this in the 256GB variant. So let's go ahead and pull this tab right here and get into the unboxing and comparison. Let's go ahead. And of course we do get the black box compared to the white box on the regular iPhone 12s and 12 minis. So let's go ahead and take the top off of the 12 Pro Max right here. And you can see that is the Pacific Blue iPhone 12 Pro Max. Here's just an initial comparison in size to the regular iPhone 12 Pro. I absolutely love the feel of the Pro and Pro Max this year. So anyways, let's go ahead and take off the screen protector on the front so we can see this big old screen right here. And yeah, that is a big display. And this thing feels big in the hand too. I mean, I knew it would, but wow, this really reminds me of something like the iPhone 7 Plus. So we'll talk a little bit more about the comparisons here in a moment, but let's go ahead and take a look at what else is in the box. So we do have our USB-C to Lightning cable. Again, we only have the cable, not the cord. Then we do have our pamphlet right here, which gives us an Apple sticker, our semi-eject tool, and things like that. So nothing much going on in the box. So we're gonna go ahead and set this off to the side. And yeah, here is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So I'm gonna go ahead and boot this up. Now again, I did get this in 256, but you can also get it in 128, and that starts at $10.99. Mine is the 256, which is $11.99, and then you could also get 512GB of storage for $13.99. So there is the display of the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Let's go ahead and do some quick comparisons in terms of screen size of these phones. So you can see there compared to the regular iPhone 12 Pro. I really want to see how this compares to the 12 mini in terms of the screen. So look at the size difference there in the 12 mini and the 12 Pro Max. So you could fit like two of these on top of the Pro Max here. So massive difference in size. Taking a look at the back, you can see the difference in the back of the 12 Pro Max versus the 12 mini. I could just go ahead and sit this on there and you can pretty much fit the entire phone on there. If it weren't for the camera bump, you would be able to. So you can see the size difference there. I also want to compare this to something like the iPhone 7 Plus, which was my first impression. That's what I thought it felt the most like. And yeah, just holding these two side by side, it definitely feels like a thicker version of the iPhone 7 Plus. You can see there the edges. You can see it's definitely thicker than the iPhone 7 Plus as expected. We do have a much bigger battery, and we do also have those squared off edges versus the rounded off edges like we have on the 7 Plus. Taking a look at the back here, you can see they are pretty much the same height. They look about identical in terms of the height. So if you have a 7 Plus, just know that you're only going to be getting pretty much a wider device. It feels a little bit wider and really not that much wider, but the main difference is going to be the screen size, because on the iPhone 7 Plus, you have the big bezel up top, you have the home button at the bottom, but you have none of that on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. You just have the small notch up top, but that's pretty much it. So you're gonna have a much bigger screen. You're gonna have a lot more real estate. You're gonna have to navigate through with your finger, and just kind of trying to reach to the top of this, I can already tell it's going to be kind of a problem, especially when I'm like, laying in bed or I'm in a certain position and I can't really reach the top. So we're going to have to wait and see. I will talk about that more in this video and of course in my full review as well. But this thing is honestly not as heavy as I thought it would be. I mean, it is heavier than something like the iPhone 7 Plus, just slightly, but it's 8 ounces. So 228 grams on the iPhone 12 Pro Max here. And of course we do have that big 6.7 inch OLED display, and we do have those smaller bezels. Once again, they're more prominent on the iPhone 12 mini. I think it's just because it has a smaller display, but the bezels just overall look smaller on the edges compared to every other iPhone this year. And then inside we do have the A14 Bionic chip, which is the same chip found in the 12 mini, the 12 Pro, the regular 12. All of the 12s this year have the same chipset inside. So anyways, let's go ahead and run through the setup process really quickly. Now, if you guys want to see a full setup process showing you guys, transferring over data from an old phone to the 12 Pro Max, I did already make a video on that. So I will leave that linked up in the cards right now and also down in the description below. I'm just going to be quickly running through the setup process in this video. Man, just typing on the screen feels great. I mean, I have so much space between the letters and my fingers, I just have a lot of space, and it's not too bad on something like the 12 mini. I really didn't have any complaints when I was typing, but there's a big difference, of course. I mean, that's expected, but just using it, I'm just giving you guys my overall first impressions. It felt really good to type on the 12 Pro Max, but again, I'm still worried about using it on a day-to-day basis, which is why I got 256 in the 12 Pro as well, just in case I want to switch off to the 12 Pro. So we'll wait and see, and I will use this a little bit more and give you guys my thoughts. So we are going to go ahead and run through the Face ID setup now. Now, I'm also curious to see how the battery is going to be on the 12 Pro Max, just because we have a bigger battery in this phone than any other of the iPhone 12s this year. So I will be running a battery test video here on the channel. I'll be comparing it to the regular 12, the 12 Pro, the 12 mini, and it's gonna be really interesting to see if the 12 Pro Max can outlast all the iPhones from this year, and also the 11 Pro Max, which was and pretty much still is, the king of battery right now. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Now, if you want to upgrade from the 12 Pro to the 12 Pro Max, or if you're just trying to decide if you should get the 12 Pro or the 12 Pro Max, I would not upgrade or pay the extra money just for battery life alone. I would only, choose the 12 Pro Max over the 12 Pro if you want a slightly better camera, because the 12 Pro Max does have a larger sensor, so you will get better quality photos and videos out of the 12 Pro Max. We'll see how noticeable that is. I will talk about that in my full review video. But if you are, really into photography and videography, that's one reason to get the 12 Pro Max, but also the bigger screen. That's going to be the main difference. So if the 12 Pro screen is just too small for you, or if you just prefer a big 6.7-inch display, then go ahead and get the 12 Pro Max. But those are really the only two reasons I could see going from a 12 Pro to a 12 Pro Max, or just deciding on the 12 Pro Max instead of the 12 Pro. So we're running through all of these settings really quickly right here, and I'm imagining that the iPhone 12 Pro Max ships with iOS 14.1, so we should, in theory, have a software update available right once we unbox it. So if we go to General About, yeah, so we're on 14.1. So if we go to software update, you can see we do have iOS 14.2, which I did make a full video on, and you can check that out in the cards and in the description below. And I would recommend installing this new update once you get your brand new iPhone 12 Pro Max. You can see there it's 1.15 gigabytes, so not too large. So anyways, I also want to go ahead and change the wallpaper here. So if we go to choose new wallpaper, live, we have corresponding wallpapers to the colors of the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max this year. So of course I did get the blue color, so I'm going to set my wallpaper as the blue one right here, and I think it looks a lot better than it did with the wallpaper that it shipped with. So yeah, looks a lot better there, and you do also have a light and a dark mode. And as I do in every unboxing video, I did also want to run a quick Geekbench test here on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and compare the speeds to the regular 12 Pro and also the regular 12 and maybe even the 12 mini as well, because I did run a Geekbench on all of those. Man, this phone just feels so big in the hands, and I kind of like it. I don't know, it's weird. I thought it would be a lot more of a burden just holding it, but maybe it's just because of how I'm holding it right now. And wow, Geekbench just installed really, really fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the CPU benchmark, and you can see there we do have 6 gigabytes of RAM on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So we're gonna do CPU, we're gonna run the benchmark and see how it compares in terms of scores for single core and multi-core to the regular 12, 12 Pro, and 12 mini. So you can see the Geekbench results there, 1549 and a 2772, and that is lower than most of the other phones over here. The iPhone 12 got the highest score, but once again, we are indexing files and things in the background, so that is not necessarily representative of how fast this device is, because in theory, this should be the fastest device of all of the new iPhone 12s and really all of the phones of the past as well. But anyways, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, once again, it feels actually pretty good in the hand. And by the way, I do want to mention that it didn't even get that warm. I mean, it got a little bit warm near the top, actually. Most phones get warm near the bottom, but the iPhone 12 Pro Max got really warm near the top of the phone. So that's a really interesting note. Interesting. So up at the top is where it got warm, but it did not get as warm as other devices. So that is also good news and kind of expected for the top of the line iPhone this year. So anyways, yeah, the iPhone 12 Pro Max feels fine in the hand. I mean, it feels, like I said, very similar to the iPhone 7 Plus. So if you're upgrading from that to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, I don't think you're going to have an issue at all, because just the design itself, just the overall body itself is pretty much identical. I mean, it is a little bit thicker, like I said. It is also slightly heavier, but aside from that, you're not going to really have issues, getting it in your pocket and taking it out of your pocket or anything like that. So the main concern is going to be with the screen, and you're going to have to use two hands most of the time. So it's going to come down to whether or not you're able to deal with using two hands most of the time on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, because once again, unless you have like Shaq-sized hands, it's going to be really hard to get to the control center, just using one hand. You're going to either have to, push it down and do some finger gymnastics, or just use two hands, hold it with your left or your right, and use your other hand to do actions, close to the top. So you do also have reachability. So I would actually recommend installing that, or enabling that, I should say. So if you just search for reachability right here, I would enable that. That way you just kind of swipe down right there on the home bar and it brings everything lower. That will be easier to reach, like the control center and things like that. So that is something I would definitely go ahead and enable on this phone. And that's something I don't use on any other phone, but I would recommend it on the 12 Pro Max. And then of course we do have the MagSafe charger here, which will work fine on the 12 Pro Max thanks to the magnetic array inside of the 12 Pro Max. This is Apple's new $40 wireless charging accessory. So pretty interesting there, and it fits fine. It's actually a little bit stronger, it feels like, than it was on the 12 mini for whatever reason. But anyways, yeah guys, that is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It actually feels really good in the hand, better than I thought it would. Same with the 12 mini. I think a lot of people kind of blew the expectations out of proportion before we got these in hand. I think a lot of people kind of just bashed them for no real reason, but in the hand they both feel a lot better than I thought it would, and I have to admit that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I actually love it. I still am not, decided yet if I'm going to use the 12 Pro Max or the regular 12 Pro yet. I will have to use both, on a consistent basis, and I will bring you guys a video when I make my decision, and that will be a good comparison between these two that I think a lot of people will be interested in, because I know myself was very interested in this before I got it in hand. So what do you guys think about the iPhone 12 Pro Max? Are you gonna pick one up? Do you have a regular 12? Do you have the 12 Pro? Do you have the 12 mini? Let me know your thoughts. Also, let me know your thoughts on the color. Are you a fan of the Pacific Blue, or do you like the gold better? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, and make sure you guys do subscribe for a lot more iPhone 12 coverage. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.